the truth about the diagnosis that has changed Jamie-Lynn Sigler's life forever.
She won over America's heart with her career-defining performance as the feisty daughter of Tony Soprano on HBO's hit series, The Sopranos. Just 16 when she was cast, Jamie-Lynn Sigler became a red carpet darling as America watched her transformation from a spunky teenager into a beautiful and confident adult actress. But Jamie hid a secret from the world, a 15-year-long battle with multiple sclerosis. Diagnosed at age 20, Sigler attempted to work through her illness by strategically covering it up. But in 2005, her symptoms worsened, and she eventually confided in her co-stars, including on-screen father James Gandolfini, who she says was especially protective of her secret. Now married and the mother of a 2-year-old, Jamie is finally ready to open up about her fight with MS.
Please welcome Jamie-Lynn Sigler. It must be a little scary to come forward like this all at once.
It's very scary, particularly because it's when you hold a secret for that long, you allow yourself to develop so many fears about it and about what it will be like when you come out.
Why did you decide to keep it a secret for so long?
Well, when I was diagnosed, I was originally diagnosed at 19 with Lyme's disease. And when about a year and a half later, I had a flare-up, which I thought was the Lyme's again, and was re-diagnosed with MS, I was scared and confused because I didn't feel sick. I was so young and so active, and I had this great career happening. I was about to star on Broadway for a couple of months, and I confided in an industry professional at the time, and he told me, and I know he was protecting me at the time, but he said, I'm gonna pretend you didn't tell me that, and I highly suggest that you never share that with anybody because you don't look sick, if you don't feel sick, and if you can hide it, it will be best because I think that, you will be judged unfairly, you will be limited unfairly, and probably won't get much work. So I followed his advice. Yeah.
I think there are a lot of people who either feel that or have been told that. They live their lives with that cloud of secrecy, which I'm very proud that you're lifting today.
Thanks.
Let's go back to the very beginning. You mentioned you had Lyme and then another flare-up that ended up being the diagnosis of MS. Did you accept that? I mean, I would suspect most young women would probably be in denial.
No, I didn't accept it until very recently. And this has been almost 15 years. So it's a very hard thing to accept when somebody gives you a diagnosis like that because MS, especially at the time, I didn't know much about it. I thought it meant that I was going to end up in a wheelchair very soon. I was terrified. I thought it meant that all my dreams were through, and I just didn't want to accept it. And so for me to sort of live in this state of denial and keep this secret meant that it wasn't true because I wasn't talking about it.
So you're being told not to talk about it. You don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
You're in a little bit of denial. And yet your career's exploding. You're on The Sopranos. You're about to take on Broadway. How'd you hide it? How'd you cope?
Well, in the beginning it was easy because I went fairly symptom-free for quite some time. And as years went on, I know you talk a lot about it. Stress is never a good thing. And I, at the age of 24, went through a divorce. And it was a very stressful time, and things started to manifest. And, there's things that I hate to talk about, but if I'm being honest, I'm open. And a lot of people that suffer from like incontinence issues and weakness on my right side. And I have really bad scoliosis and a disc issue, so I was able to use that because I wasn't lying, saying that I was limited by that, but I wasn't telling, obviously, the whole truth, but it made it a little bit easier for me to cover up that way.
Did you share the truth with the people you were working with? I heard that you'd spoken to your on-screen father, James Gandolfini.
Yeah. With the cast members that I was closest with, like obviously the people that were in the family were like my family, so I did tell them, especially at the time when there were things that I couldn't hide. And you feel so alone, and with a disease like this, you need support. And so just even to have somebody to hold my hand or even just to ask, are you okay, would make me feel stronger and better.
Weren't you worried that the story would get out?
You know, it's so crazy to think about because over the years, obviously, I've told more and more people within my inner circle, but it just really shows me what amazing friends I have and what a great family because they fiercely protected me and kept this secret. Only not because they thought they needed to or wanted to, but because I asked them to. I mean, for many years, the people that are closest with me have tried to encourage me to come out about this, but I wasn't ready.
So why are you ready now? Why did you choose this moment?
Well, a lot of things. Motherhood, number one, changed me as it changes, being a parent changes everyone. I didn't want to raise my...
There's little Bo.
There's my son.
Cute.
I didn't want to raise my little boy. He's 2.5 now, and he's going to get to an age fairly soon where he'll be pretty conscious of it, and I didn't want him to feel like he had to hold a secret from me, and I wanted to be an example of strength of his mom, fighting, and to teach him compassion and that anyone with any limitation is still deserving of opportunity and love and everything. And also too, with the encouragement of my husband, it's been a process, but I think we've got it down now. I hope.
I think you're well on your way. Can I show you a picture? Which makes me think that this is a picture of you and your husband, baseball player Cutter Dykstra. I was a big fan of his father's, by the way.
Yeah.
This is at your wedding. So when you see that beautiful picture and you look at yourself, what do you see?
I'm so happy. I'm so proud. I wanted to share this story at the same time as my wedding because I wanted to give somebody hope that maybe is getting diagnosed and doesn't think they're going to be able to walk down the aisle or dance the night away at their wedding. I didn't even think I was going to be able to do that. And I wore my high heels at my ceremony, which I really wanted to do. And then I took them off and I danced barefoot all night. And I almost forgot about my MS for one day. And it was really nice. And I had the best day of my entire life. I'm so happy.
You know what? You're not defined by this disease.
Yeah.
You're redefining what it's like to live with it.
Thank you.
And that's why what you're doing is so, so important.
Thank you.
I really applaud you for what you're doing, but you're not going anywhere.
No,
We're going to
hang out.
When we come back, Jamie's going to reveal, she's going to hang out, and we're going to reveal the truth about the overseas experimental treatment she has turned to and all the other things she's doing to try to find a cure for this. Stay with us. You all remember Jamie-Lynn Sigler for her memorable role as Tony Soprano's beloved daughter, but today, Jamie's stepping forward and revealing the truth about her secret battle with MS. It's a big day for you.
Yeah, it is.
You were saying earlier that there's the first day you spoke in publicly on camera, and you could have up days and down days with a chronic illness. Is today a good day for you? What are you feeling?
Today is a good day. I've really, you learn a lot with this disease, and I've really learned how to manage it. I think you have to have a fighting attitude with something like this, and I think coming forward and being public is going to inspire me even more to fight even harder.
Come on over.
Okay.
Now, fatigue is a part of the challenges we face in life, and coping with a child of 2, I'm sure sometimes pushes you even a little harder. I do want to show you what's happening inside of you, if it's okay.
Sure.
All right. So here's some gloves for you.
Thank you. Purple's my favorite color.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I like purple too. My mom loves purple.
It's a good color.
So have you ever touched human organs before?
No.
It was the first time for everything. So you've probably heard this described to you before. Here's the brain.
Yeah.
And there's a spinal column. I'll bring it closer to you. And
okay.
You see a little wrapping around it.
Yes.
So you go ahead and feel it and touch it, and you've got...
That's why I'm not a doctor.
So in MS, there's no simple blood test, obviously.
Right.
But we notice on scans of the brain or in the spinal cord, there'll be little defects. So I can show you, an organ and work you through it this way. But I also thought one way to explain it might be this little demo.
Okay.
So when you think about your nerves, there's the cables, electrical cables on the inside, but there's a covering on the outside. And that sheath's really important. With stress and other events, you'll actually inflame with your immune system the sheath. It'll literally, from the inflammation, start to burn away. And the irritation of that surface will allow holes to develop here. So So the cables that are supposed to be insulated so they can conduct electricity to your body no longer can do it. And that's what causes some of the shooting pains. Jack Osborne was on the show, who has MS as well.
Yeah.
He said that MS is like your fingerprint, because it's different for everybody.
Yes.
Because it can crack anywhere.
Yep.
So what are the symptoms that usually are the ones that slow you down running after that beautiful 2-year-old of yours?
Stairs are hard for me. And, you know, as much as you hate to talk about it, but I want to be truthful, you know, and I know it's sort of the common denominator amongst many women with MS is incontinence. It's a hard thing to not control your body, you know, and it can be embarrassing and hard, but you can control it with medication and protection and things like that, which, you know, you just figure out as time goes on.
Now, you have traveled the entire planet looking
Yeah.
for solutions.
Yeah.
I love to hear some of the insights you get. You're obviously an incredibly bright, very honest woman.
Yeah.
You've figured out a lot of things that just are a waste of time, and probably came into some ideas that can be life-changing.
Sure. Well, I traveled to another country and had fetal stem cells injected in my spinal cord. And not to say this wouldn't work for other people, but it didn't work for me. The things that have worked for me are my medication and a clean diet. And it's really hard because I'm somebody who loves junk food. I was never into healthy eating at all. But a gluten, dairy, sugar-free diet, it really helps. It's so hard to do and you need support and help with it, but when I follow it and I'm consistent, it really makes a big difference.
Ladies and gentlemen, what's up next? She's going to reveal her secrets to beat the fatigue, and they don't just work for MS, they work for a lot of problems, plus Jamie's message to everyone living with a chronic condition. Stay here. We are back with Jamie-Lynn Sigler, who is bravely coming forward to share details of her life with MS. So do you still think there's a stigma around this disease?
I do. I think a lot of people don't understand still what it means, what it is, and the truth of the matter is it's different for everybody, but it's not a death sentence. It doesn't mean your life is over. And, you know, I didn't realize, but when I came out about this, I felt such an overwhelming sense of responsibility now to represent a group of people that are maybe suffering in silence and that don't know. And you know, for anyone who's just got diagnosed or gets diagnosed tomorrow, your life isn't over. And, you know, I'm living a really full life and there's no reason to think you can't participate and have a good one.
You're so perfect for this. All right, so I've been following you, and especially when I learned you were coming out, we started collecting some of the tweets. And there's so many. So I'm going to just share a few of these if I can.
Okay.
With you. This is from PMR. She says, people thank you for your story. It helps to know that no one is fighting this battle alone. You provided hope and courage to me. And Kelly said, I was hospitalized last week, slurred speech after waking up, headaches, I'm stunned, scared. At being diagnosed with MS, you give me hope. I could go on forever. Jessica said, thank you for your courage. Your being so open has changed many lives already. I promise you.
That's so nice.
Yeah. These are folks who've just been diagnosed at times. They're trying to just keep their hands on something tangible.
Thanks.
And if you're willing to share a little bit more,
Yeah.
I've got someone who wanted to be here today who has a lot in common with you. Her name is Melissa.
Okay.
She's age 20, just like you were when you were diagnosed, and she's been diagnosed with MS. Can you come up?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Melissa, welcome to Jamie.
Hi. I'll sit next to you. How are you? Nice to meet you. Good.
So Melissa, why don't you share your story?
Sure. First, I want to say thank you for being so brave and for sharing your story with all of us. Like you, I was diagnosed in my early 20s. I've only had it for a few years, and I was devastated at first. I was very scared that a lot of the things that you had said, I was concerned that would I be able to advance in my career? Would I be able to have a family? And I quickly learned, like you said, you have to really manage your stress, your diet, and exercise, and you have to have a very positive attitude to get through this. I'm very fortunate because I have a very supportive husband and family. Soon I'll actually be following in your footsteps. I'm going to be a mother. I'm 3 months pregnant.
And thank you, because it really takes, you know, a really strong person to support someone with this. And so thank you. It's you're so lucky.
Yes,
and you're great.
thank you.
We're
I
both
am very lucky.
Jamie, what things have you done in your life that Melissa's going to start doing and hopefully is already doing?
Yeah.
That's made a difference.
Well, we talked about the diet for sure. B12 injections have helped a ton, and they're really positive, I think, for the myelin as well. Vitamin D, I think, is something that we all know is very, very important, especially with MS. I do Pilates, which helps a lot because it's stretching and strengthening. And when I talked a little bit about like the disease being so isolating, I think it's an important thing is to participate as much as you can and don't keep yourself at home and don't isolate yourself. You really will go leaps and bounds further than you ever thought you would.
Right. Thank you.
Let's talk about the future.
Yeah.
For Melissa, Jamie, everybody. Your doctors, I understand, have mentioned to you the idea that could be a cure for this.
Yeah.
Not just in our lifetime, but in the next 10 years.
My doctor's not very generous with his words, and he really believes wholeheartedly that is the truth, and I believe him. I do. I think that there's groundbreaking things happening, and I will be the guinea pig to try anything. I think a friend of mine said to me recently, and I think he's right. Like, what are we famous for? But to use our platform, and this was the thing I was most afraid of in my entire life, and now it's the thing that. One of the things that inspires me every day, and so I will not give up on this fight for us and for everybody. And like I said, I will be the guinea pig and try whatever until I'm pregnant again, and then I'll take a break.
It has been a great, great pleasure having you. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for caring enough to be public about this, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Find a
Thank
cure.
you.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out on new videos to live the good life.